Audio going. Still have headphones on. The wife of Weezer's bassist was shot by police less than 30 minutes from Beverly Hills, where sources suggest she wanted to be. The incident occurred while officers with the California Highway Patrol and the Los Angeles Police Department were responding to a hit and run that took place on a highway that cuts through a residential area of LA between Pasadena and Glendale called Eagle Rock on October 8th, 2025. This whole situation's weird, and the woman in question had nothing to do with the hit and run. She just inserted herself into this event. When the three suspects in the hit and run fled on foot, one climbed a highway embankment and ended up on a residential street. So police start chasing this person through this residential neighborhood area and followed them into the backyard of a nearby home. Enter Jillian Lauren Schreiner, age 51, a New York Times best-selling author and the wife of Weezer's bassist Scott Schreiner. She emerged from the home next door brandishing a loaded 9mm handgun instead of staying in the garage where she belongs. Officers tell her to drop the weapon, and she completely ignores them and instead decides to aim the firearm at police. As a result, the officers fired on her, shooting her in the shoulder. Say it ain't so. She then ran back into the house. So, don't point a gun at police, they will shoot back. The shooting took place shortly before 3:30 p.m. About 30 minutes later, Lauren and an unidentified babysitter emerged from the home with their hands up and promptly surrendered. According to CBS, police said that after the shooting, she told them that she was trying to defend her home from the suspects they had chased into the neighborhood. The ones that weren't in her backyard, who were just running through the neighborhood. CHP told CBS that none of its officers opened fire, which means that Lauren was likely shot by an LAPD officer. Law enforcement told TMZ that Lauren was being taken to a hospital to be treated for a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Get this, she is later arrested in absentia, meaning she's arrested without being present, for attempted murder and is being held in lieu of $1 million bond. So it's unclear. So these charges are very serious, and it's unclear if she actually fired a weapon, but the California Penal Code offers some suggestions based on the charges against her. So sections 664 and 187 provide a straightforward definition of murder, which is the attempted unlawful killing of another person or fetus with malice aforethought. According to the statute, to convict her of attempted murder, a prosecutor has to be able to prove that 1, she took a direct step toward killing someone, and 2, she specifically intended to kill that person, so it shows her intent. Section 417 defines the crime of brandishing a weapon. To prove that crime, a prosecutor must be able to establish that 1, the defendant drew or exhibited a firearm or deadly weapon in the presence of someone else. 2, the defendant did so in a rude, angry, or threatening manner. 3, or the defendant used the firearm or weapon in a fight or quarrel. 4, and the defendant did not act in self-defense. This is no island in the sun. These are serious charges. Okay, now a little bit about Jillian Lauren. Her husband Scott Schreiner joined Weezer in 2001 as the bassist, and he is the longest-serving bassist in the band. He is actually a former U.S. Marine who also served in the backing band of Vanilla Ice. According to the LA Times, they have been married since 2005 and they have 2 children. Weezer is actually scheduled to perform in Coachella this weekend, so that'll be fun for Scott. They're also a surprise last-minute booking for the festival, and their set was just announced like a few days before this incident occurred. It's unclear if or how this may impact their scheduled show. Lauren is the author of best-selling true crime book, Behold the Monster, Facing America's Most Prolific Serial Killer. This book is based on her interviews with serial killer Samuel Little.
Hi, I'm Jillian Lauren, and I am the only journalist who interviewed America's most prolific serial killer.
Her book was used as the basis of a 2021 5-part documentary series called Confronting a Serial Killer. And the first thing I thought of when I saw this article come up was, oh my God, that's the woman from the documentary series.
He did these drawings for me.
I remember watching this, and it has been a while because I saw it kind of right as it came out, and I'm a big Weezer fan, so there's like a little connection to the music scene there as well. And my first thought was, you know, how first of all, bizarre behavior, just weird behavior on her part, resulting getting shot by police. But it made me think of, in the documentary series, you know, she not only interviews Samuel Little, but she is clearly very disturbed by him. And there's actually I remember it was either a scene in the documentary or an interview she did after, but she talked about how difficult it was on her family because her husband was like, you need to stop talking about this around the kids, because she would be really upset about the things she was hearing about, you know, rape and murder of many different women on behalf of Sam Little, one of the most prolific serial killers in America. And then she would be like angrily venting about that in front of her kids, and just seemed like she struggled to regulate her emotions, and that was having a serious impact on her family life and her mental health. She also, in the series about Sam Little, goes into her own personal life and talks about her own, oh, I have something in my eye. It's a dog hair. Yeah, so my thoughts on her were always that, you know, like, wow, it's, you know, she did amazing work on this documentary, and like, as an author myself, I really respect the work that it takes to write a book and interview people and stuff. But I immediately thought of how kind of unstable she seemed. And this is my personal opinion, okay? Confronting a Serial Killer premiered at South by Southwest before it appeared on the Starz cable channel. Lauren is also the author of Some Girls, My Life in a Harem. This is an autobiographical novel about her experience in the early 1990s in the harem of Prince Jeffrey Bolkai, the brother of the Sultan of Brunei. So Jillian has a very interesting backstory. Yeah, wow. In a 2023 interview titled Behold the Monster, a Q&A with Jillian Lauren, Lauren told the Crime Vault that, quote, you don't choose the story finds you. She also said that she's always been fascinated by criminal deviance. Helter Skelter, Off My Parents' Shelf was the greatest gateway drug for me, and In Cold Blood sealed the deal. Stories about murder have built-in high stakes we can't turn away. I've encountered the perspective that true crime is exploitative by nature. I disagree. Violence is monstrous. It's all too human. As a reader and writer of true crime, I am able to explore the stories of those existing on the fringes of society and see up close both the failures and progress of the criminal justice system. It has been a harrowing ride and one of great personal significance.
He's dead. Was I his last victim? No. You know, I'm a survivor.
I can't separate all of these things that she's saying about true crime with the behavior that we were just seeing, and the fact that she has been booked for attempted murder of a police officer at this point. I sometimes talk about having true crime brain and how it can make, sometimes I feel paranoid, and I'm like, okay, I gotta remember, like, only a tiny percentage of the population is doing these things to other people, only a small percentage of people, and it's unlikely that, you know, every single person you run into has like ill will towards you or bad intentions or like homicidal ideation or like weird sex fantasies and they want to kill you. You know, so we have to be wary of that. And when you in-depth study cases, you have to remember, like, this is one serial killer we're talking about. Most people don't engage in this kind of behavior. So I think, you know, seeing how stressed she was in the documentary, because she didn't hide it. She would like be on a phone call with Samuel Little, like while he's incarcerated, and she's sitting at her office desk at home, and like one time she got so mad she hung up on him, and she's like venting about it, or she's sitting there just crying at her desk because like she hates him so much, and like it seems like this emotional roller coaster that she's going through. And I guess it's almost like an outlet for things that she's not able to emotionally regulate within herself. And it gives her an outlet to be like, well, I'm so angry and like, this is why. but it might, you know, I don't know. But to me, like, she seems unstable. So in this whole incident, of the 3 suspects, only one was apprehended. They were identified by police as the driver of the car involved in the hit-and-run crash. He was apparently only wearing his underwear when he was arrested at around 4:20 p.m. According to police, he was attempting to pretend to be the local resident of a home in the area. His plan was undone when he was seen by local news helicopters pulling his threads as he ran away. Despite jumping in a pool and watering the plants in someone else's backyard in an apparent attempt to blend into the neighborhood, according to KTLA, he was soon nearly naked, unraveled, lying on the floor, in handcuffs. He's expected to be charged with felony hit and run after he's released from the hospital with an undisclosed injury. There is no word on the condition of his sweater or if he had his hash pipe. The Jillian Lauren connection to this whole thing is wild. I would love to hear what Scott Schreiner thinks about the whole ordeal. All right, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, guys. My name is Victoria Evans. Be safe out there. Also, apparently we've cloned dire wolves, so they exist now after thousands of years. That's pretty cool.